Fridays. Well, I don't know if you heard it, but Evan Spiegel announced, and I am like full body chills with this. Our spectacles are coming next year.
It's about time. We're super excited.
Super exciting. And for developers in that space, that means a tremendous amount. It really opens up the doorway. We're working with some of the world's biggest brands, everybody from Nike to Lego to Coca-Cola. And what I will say is those first mover brands, those innovative brands are not thinking about spectacles. They're already building with us. Catapult ourselves 2 years into the future. Will you need your mobile phone anymore? Or will you just be wearing a pair of spectacles?
Welcome to Brands and Play, the podcast where we explore immersive marketing and the people who are leading it. I'm Albane Prioux, Insights and Partnership Director at Geek.
And I'm Nick Hill, co-founder and chief innovation officer at Sawhorse.
This week on the show, Adidas on Minecraft, Bluey with Lego, Google Play comes to Roblox, and the developer Jogo beats Battle Royale.
And we don't have a guest this week because I'm taking you to AWE, the Augmented World Expo in LA, and I'll be showing you the cutting edge announcements from the floor. Then we'll be rebroadcasting a panel I moderated there on marketing with augmented reality and spatial computing.
Don't forget to subscribe, review, and join the conversation.
Let's go!
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm good, Albane. How are you?
Yes, very good. Just came back from, as you know, last week I was in Orlando. So I'm slowly catching back with the time zones and, being back in my routine.
Nice.
But excited to actually be back. So far, I shouldn't have any more travel until September. So
That's
I
a
should
lot
be
of
good.
international travel. You're going across the pond
Yeah.
several times in a row. That's
Yeah.
draining. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you for going to Unreal Fest and reporting back there. Really appreciated your insights, and I felt like I was there, which was great.
Especially because it was, very exciting time. And I've met with the amazing Epic Games team. And I also met a lot of developers there to understand, what are the opportunities, but also the challenges to build Unreal Fest and on Fortnite. I wanted to give a bit of a shout out to some of the developers that we've met there. So Atlas Creative, Good Gamers, but also Beyond Creative. It was just really nice. I think it's the same as when you go to all of those types of events. It's just nice to see the faces behind, all of the interaction that we would have had for many years sometimes. So it
Yeah.
was just amazing.
And what I love about Unreal Fest is you can feel this young energy, like this new energy, which I loved RDC, the Roblox Developer Conference, and it's amazing, but it's just so old. You know what I'm saying? Like the kids are young, but the platform's been around for 20 years. So, it's like there's a different vibe. But I feel like with UEFN, it's all happening right now. Like every 2 weeks, there's a big update or a big change. So everyone's just getting into it for the first time now, which is really exciting to be a part of.
What's up with you this week?
Not much. It's just been a little bit busy trying to do all the prep work for AWE. I'm excited. This will be my second year, so that's going to be awesome. Also, I got my Fenty gloss bomb that I bought on Roblox in the Fenty experience. So that arrived. I got two. I got one for my wife, one for myself, just as a relic to put back there on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's going in the box, won't be used, and hopefully that will be a relic that I can call on. Well, it's one of the if you know makeup, it wasn't packaged.
It
Like
hasn't
it's
been,
fine.
the
No
package
one
hasn't
will
been
even know
opened.
that. Other than this evidence, no one will know it was ever opened, okay? Or used. It's that's mint condition right there.
Okay.
And then the other thing we're talking about is this weekend, I watched that film on Apple TV, Mountainhead. Are you familiar with this one?
No, I haven't heard of it. So tell me about it. I saw it in your notes.
It's brand new. It's kind of a film that happens in today's time period, and it's all about sort of super high-powered tech billionaires. They're like a little friend group, a little dysfunctional friend group, and they take this vacation in this ridiculous home that's in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. And one of the characters is an owner of a social media app. He infuses Gen
Intense.
AI into it, and then it's all this fake news is populating and the world's kind of falling apart, and these guys are on vacation, and it's It's a crazy film. It's definitely worth
Okay.
watching, and I think it's like it's all talking it's like a reflection of what's happening with tech today and big business, and if you're, like, not a fan of Elon Musk, you will love this film. I'll just put it
Okay.
that way.
I'll check it out. Since Severance had an Apple Pay subscription, Apple Play, sorry, subscription, so I'm excited to have something else to watch.
Definitely worth your time. But, speaking of time, this is a big episode, there's tons of
Yeah,
stuff, so let's just jump to the news.
let's go.
Okay, so news time. I was really frustrated because I was like scrolling through all of the news that we had pulled over the week, and I realized like this is too much to report on. So I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff that's getting missed. And by the time that we're recording this right now is when Apple's big conference is happening. So
Yes.
we're not speaking to those updates, unfortunately. You're gonna have to wait till next week for those. But my first story is all about Adidas, or as the Europeans would say, Adidas, right?
Adidas, the real way to say it.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even hear that real way until I started working on Roblox a few years ago. My whole
Uh-huh.
life, it was just Adidas. All right. So,
Mhm. I say Nike, and then I think it's when I started, yeah,
yeah, when I started
I
hearing
say Nike.
Nike, I was like, oh, they don't know how to say it right. But then I realized that maybe I'm not saying it right.
I actually don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
who
Adidas.
cares?
Tell me all about it.
Adidas has activated on Minecraft, which is super exciting. I think the company's done a really great job of like getting inside of gaming. They've done AAA
Mm.
previously. They've been on Roblox. They've been on Fortnite. So yeah, they've just activated well. And then in this update, this is a partnership with Minecraft, and they made like this sort of like game that you can access just by the main Minecraft game and go straight in there. And it's cool because you could tell that the people that built it were very conscious of the audience. So it wasn't like, oh, look how cool Adidas is in this Minecraft game. It like the whole game design is all built around the mechanics of the actual game. There's quest systems, and they're kind of using the Adidas clothing as like rewards and lockables that are all related to the actual gameplay. So I felt like it was sort of organic the way it was brought in. I also thought it was really cool that they created the classic blue shoebox. If anyone has, everyone knows what that is. Like they brought that into the game, and then when you unlock those, you have to like sort of open them up, and they kind of like there's a light that like shines out of it, and it's just cool branding. I thought they did a good job. Did you have a chance to check this out?
I did see a few clips popping on my LinkedIn here or there, but I think it's interesting to see Minecraft collaborating with more and more brands, because I think they're still not a full UGC platform where any brand can engage on their platform. So I think it's really interesting to see how they are shaping a little bit the way that they're going to partner with brands and what type of utility they want to offer their audience via those partnerships. So another, I think, really interesting one. And I think I agree with you. Adidas has been really everywhere on multiple platforms. It really goes to show that there is really a fragmented audience, so you can't just be on one platform if you want to capture all audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got?
So my story is the developer Jogo, who is a studio that was created by Typical Gamer, who is a large Fortnite creators. They did a partnership in memory of the artist. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Either XXS or Triple X Temptation, but they did a virtual event and a concert within their one of their game that is called Super Red versus Blue. And for the first time ever, the CCU on this activation surpassed the one of Battle Royale. So this is something that we've never seen on the platform before. I think there's still this thought that Fortnite is obviously known for Battle Royale, and I think it's still the case. But it is really interesting to now see few developers, when the integration is right, to have essentially the audience that is veering towards specific experiences. So I just wanted to give huge shout out to the developer studio Jogo, because I think that was a really nice integration that they've done in their experience, but also shows the maturity of the platform evolving more towards a space where you can have different types of experiences that have just battle royale.
That's amazing. And yeah, I think that like this is sort of a epic moment, if you will, with an island surpassing Battle Royale as far as like the engagement and concurrent users. I think it's an indicator that like there's a big future in these islands and these for individual creators and studios to build these experiences. It's really exciting to see. And I love to see when musical artists are activating on the platform and platforms in general. It, it's a challenge. And I hope to see more artists
Yeah, and
activating in
it
this
is
space.
absolutely. It just shows like the, if when you have an event like that, that it can capture so much of the audience that is on Fortnite that normally plays, I think, Battle Royale or goes on to other experiences on the platform. So I think it was just really excited to see.
My next story is about two or several of my favorite things in my life right now: Lego, ice cream, and Bluey. So, did you hear? Are you familiar with the new Lego sets that came out? They're
I I
Bluey
I
sets.
Yes, I did see it. It's super cute. I'm obviously not the target audience and I don't have kids, but I'm still familiar with Bluey. So I think it was very smart for them to do that partnership.
I've seen all of the episodes with my
I,
kids, and I was just scrolling the other day. And I was like, "Let's find a one that we haven't seen." I was like, "Oh, we've seen them all." And I was like, kept scrolling. I was like, "Oh my god, how many of it?" I've watched a lot of these Blueys. I know all the characters. It's such a well written show. It's totally entertaining for people of all ages, which is amazing. But the news is. I thought this was an amazing out of home sort of immersive activation. Basically, so the Lego came out with these new Bluey sets, Lego sets, and in Brisbane, Australia, they did a pop-up ice cream shop that was completely built out of Lego pieces.
so cool.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Apparently, it took 190 hours to build. It's really an immersive experience. You can imagine being a young person going to this, being a fan of Bluey. Everything's built in Lego. You're eating ice cream. You're seeing the characters. You're like in their world. What an amazing impression that makes on somebody. And then they
Yeah.
walk away saying, I want to buy that Lego. I want to watch more Bluey. This is like celebrating fandom. I love to see this. And my only criticism is that like I get so frustrated when I see these out of home activations because they can't scale and I don't get to go. I see it on LinkedIn and I'm like, that's awesome. But it's like, I'm not going to go there. Like, wouldn't it be great if you could scale these and they're like in the top 20 biggest cities in the world or something? I don't know. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Well, I mean, maybe they'll hear the podcast. The experiential team at Lego will hear you and bring it to LA. I feel like you already are spoiled in LA. You have so much stuff
This
already
is
that's
true.
happening.
This is true. I should
So,
just sit down.
but I think it's just really nice to see a brand like Lego where I feel like they're not dialing down on also in real life experiences. And I think there is obviously a lot of relationship that can be built around an IP when you are doing those in real life experiences and also balancing it out with more digital immersive experiences. So they really are tapping into so many different layers of marketing that I think it's really interesting. But I agree with you. I think when I see those pop up, I always want to be able to check them out. But there was one in London recently that they've done. It was a flower shop show. I think it was in relation with the Chelsea flower show that we have in London. But they created those like amazing Lego flowers. So I feel
Oh,
like we've
nice.
we've we've had one in London at least.
Yeah. What do you got next?
So my final story is with Google Play that is coming on Roblox thanks to the studio The Gang. So it is a limited experience. So it's running from the 5th of June until the 2nd of July. But there's two things. So there's you can still go into the experiences. There's obviously a lot of mini game, puzzle. I really recommend to check it out. But the layer that I wanted to emphasize was that with Google Play, you can have a membership that essentially allows you to unlock different rewards, and there's different tiers to a little bit like Amex. You've got different tiers of membership. So for members that are diamond, platinum, and gold members of the Play Point, which is the scheme program, you can then unlock even more rewards within the Roblox experiences. And this was one of the first use cases that I've seen a brand linking their reward scheme with also their Roblox experiences. So only different type of content, like specific items, could be unlocked if you were a member of the scheme. You could also unlock exclusive merchandise. And the other thing that I thought was really clever was that they had a separate website where essentially you can link your Roblox account with your Google Play membership account. So again, I just love when I'm seeing brands starting to link their CRM and their, loyalty scheme with also their Roblox activation. I thought that was a really clever way to like link different stream from Google Play.
Yeah, that's amazing. First off, props to the gang. They're a fantastic agency. I'm sure I haven't checked out the experience yet, but it looks really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, big indicator of the success of Roblox when you have a massive company like Google choosing to activate there. I think it's not surprising as you see more and more of these really large conglomerates, these massive companies coming in and activating on Roblox. And then lastly, fully agree with you. I think that I love when I see brands attach their loyalty programs to these activations. It just makes so much sense. If you're a fan of a brand, you should be able to be rewarded for your, participation and your loyalty, essentially.
That's
So
right.
as it pops up in different places, like get those perks. And everything's digital right now, so it's easy to verify.
Exactly.
So why not take advantage of it?
Exactly. And I think it's a clever way for Google to be able to measure like what was the more like bottom funnel impact of that campaign beyond the engagement that they get around their loyalty program. I just think is quite interesting either to see, what was the incremental reach that they had through this campaign. I thought that was super smart. And again, shout out to the gang for bringing it to life.
Looking forward to checking that out. So that's the end of news. I'm excited to jump to this next segment because I am at AWE on the show floor. I'm going to be taking you with me to look at all of the cutting edge new devices that are coming out and all of the crazy new tech that is launching right now.
I'm looking forward to that. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're here at AWE, the Augmented World Expo, here in beautiful Long Beach, California. And as you can see behind me on the show floor, we've got some of the most bleeding edge companies building tech products and software and hardware and amazing shit. So let's go check it out. So we're at RP1. Sean,
Yes.
explain us, what is RP1?
So RP1, if you think about when the internet started, you created the web browser that opened up the entire World Wide Web. We are literally creating the world's first metaverse browser that will allow anyone to build content on their own servers and have it to be all fully connected, whether you're in virtual reality or augmented reality.
That's amazing. That's a big goal, and I'm a fan.
Yes.
So, like, our podcast is all about brands. How should brands be looking at your platform?
So we are on the biggest evolution, moving from web infrastructure to full spatial infrastructure. So every Target, Walmart is going to move from their web to spatial, where their employees or their customers will interact with spatial content, especially with AR devices taking over mobile phones.
What are you most excited about at AWE this year?
You know what? I want to see the progression of AR glasses. I'm really excited. I think we all are, and I think there's a big race right now. They've got 6 major companies spending hundreds of billions of dollars to build the next, phone, if you will. So I can't wait to see the updates on where we're at today.
So now I'm at the Snapchat booth, but this booth is larger than life. It's fantastic. So who am I speaking with?
Hi, I'm Resh Sidhu, and I'm the Global Director of AR at Snap.
Why is Snap at AWE?
Oh my days. Well, I don't know if you heard it, but Evan Spiegel announced, and I am like full body chills with this. Our spectacles are coming next year.
It's about time. We're super excited.
Super exciting. And for developers in that space, that means a tremendous amount. It really opens up the doorway. We're working with some of the world's biggest brands, everybody from Nike to Lego to Coca-Cola. And what I will say is those first mover brands, those innovative brands are not thinking about spectacles. They're already building with us. Catapult ourselves 2 years into the future. Will you need your mobile phone anymore? Or will you just be wearing a pair of spectacles? I can bet your money you'll be wearing a pair of spectacles. The freedom it gives us and the ability to tap into experiences in ways that we never imagined. And this is a phenomenal way of us setting up the stage and really inviting our community and brands to come and build with us. So what are you gonna make?
So we're at the Qualcomm booth, and I was excited to bump into my friend Ben Stein. What's your title here at Qualcomm?
So I'm an XR partner manager. So I work with everyone who's creating, developers that are creating experiences for all the headsets that Qualcomm processors enable. So a lot of our developer partners across everything from gaming and fitness to enterprise use cases like manufacturing, education, a pretty wide variety of different use cases.
Amazing. And what's also amazing is Ben Stein is the man that introduced me to virtual reality. The first time I ever put on a headset was in your presence, and thank you for that. And I think as I shifted,
Look how far we've come here. Yeah.
As I've shifted my career from traditional media, traditional video into immersive, I think that you played a hand in that. So thank you.
You're very, very welcome, and he's obviously come so far, and everything Sawhorse is doing, it's totally incredible. So.
I'm all grown up. But so let's talk about Qualcomm and what is happening. Like, what products are you here with today? What are you excited about?
Yeah, so we've got a wide variety of products. There's mixed reality headsets like the MetaQuest, the MetaQuest 3, MetaQuest S, that use our Snapdragon chipsets, the latest chipsets that are available. We also have a device from Sony here. One of the things we're most excited about is definitely Samsung's Muhan that uses our latest Snapdragon chipset. That's the beginning of a wide variety of different devices that are going to be coming on the Android XR platform for mixed reality. So we work across almost all of the mixed reality devices use our processors, and then we're as a team really excited about what's coming with augmented reality as well. Whether it be the Meta Ray-Ban's assistive reality, the devices that are may not have displays yet, but that are giving you multimodal augmented reality capabilities, as well as devices that will come, and there's some developer versions that have displays, and there's going to be a lot more of those coming soon as well.
Why don't you start by telling us what Xreal is and who you are?
Oh, Xreal, we make AR glasses. The one you're wearing right now, this is our latest One Pro that we just announced today. We have a different model called Xreal 1. So those glasses are spatial screen glasses, right? Those are plug and play. You can plug into your phone, your laptop, your ROG, your Steam Deck. So basically whatever experience that you have on those devices, it'll cast a completely different immersive experience right in front of you, right? So a lot of our customers looked at our glasses to have those a bigger screen or larger FOV to kind of be able to play their game better or to multitask better, right?
Augmented reality glasses are glasses in the first place. It's not like a phone or computer. It's a part of people's identity. I mean, think about the phone, and people care about the brand of the phone to some extent, but otherwise it's the brick. The same for everyone. Watch is a little bit next level. It's already a bit like a jewelry thing, but still tech. But the stuff on the eyes is like the same on steroids.
Awesome. So I'm here with Lucy. Lucy, you want to tell me about this product and how you fit in?
Yes, I'm Lucy. I work at Excedo, and our company is all about video OTT streaming applications. And right now our focus is very much on sports. So we're going to go into the stadium, set up cameras, produce immersive video streams, and then we build the test applications, the sponsored branded experiences, to really test it out to see whether it sticks and how users are interacting with it, to then help the sports IP owners actually build a business case for it, and then talk to the brands and the sponsors to create these kind of commercial services together.
So Orama technology, what is the technology? What is the hardware? What are we talking about?
Basically, it consists of hardware, software, and essential oils. Digital sense for me is adding a new sense into the visual experience, which is the smell, which is for me one of the most powerful sense because it connects with your childhood and can even change your mood.
Amazing. Can I try it?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go. All right, I'm watching Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Definitely smells like chocolate. That's chocolate. That's awesome.
We're originally from Greece. Haptikos is a Greek word, means touching stuff. So when you're touching stuff inside the virtual space, you feel it in your real hand. Actually, we feed signals into the sensors. They vibrate, and it's like feeling when touching in real life. This is the goal.
Wow, this is amazing. Kind of feel like the Terminator. This is sick. Wow, that's really amazing. That haptics feels like real life. It's adding another layer of immersion. Super cool. All right, so what is 40 Views?
40 Views is a provider of volumetric capture solutions. We're a tech provider allowing people to capture performances, human performances of real people as authentic, three-dimensional video assets.
Okay, so what would one do with those 3D assets?
Once performance is captured in 3 dimensions and is fully photorealistic and of high quality, you can use it in any number of mediums. We see them used in films, on television, advertising, interactive content on cell phones, in headsets, really across the board.
Okay, so for brands and marketing teams, like how should they be thinking about volumetric?
If you need to capture an authentic performance of a brand ambassador, of an athlete, of an actor, how do you do that? The answer is you film them with this, and then you have that performance as a reusable asset across basically all platforms.
So tell us, what's Spacebar?
Spacebar is a cyber western saloon arcade. So it's like a barcade in the metaverse. So our ultimate vision is that users will be able to add new machines to the arcade world using AI to help them generate those games. So for example, we could have like a Pac-Man style game in the world, and you could ask one of the AI characters who hang out at the bar, like, I'd like to make a game like Pac-Man, but instead of Pac-Man, make it like vampire kittens. Or make it, vampire kittens versus, zombie dogs, right? And that's the game, and it comes up with that. You play the machine, you're like, I love this. And if that game happens to be really popular, we'll move it to the front of the bar so that other people can play it.
So that's a wrap on AWE this year. Thank you for coming with me. It was amazing to see all the new technology and what all these amazing companies are doing. And now we're gonna jump to my panel all about marketing with augmented reality. So I'll see you there. So today, super excited to be talking about marketing with augmented reality. I feel like augmented reality is the future. It's gonna drive more impact than virtual reality, more impact than the metaverse. We're very close to this kind of coming out at scale. So very excited. But before we jump in, I want the panelists to introduce themselves. They're fantastic. We're lucky to have them. Dana, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you all today. My name is Dana Ware. I am the Chief Creative Officer for Around. I make augmented reality for locations, specifically working with different brands and stadiums, leagues, teams. And I'm also the advisor for The Void, which is a location-based virtual reality company as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Rag Harshvat, and I am on the AR developer relations team at Snapchat. And so my job is I focus on managing a lot of our third-party studios and a lot of our third-party developers as they find success and develop monetization opportunities, primarily working in marketing and brands, and spent a lot of time around campaigns like that. And so really excited to be able to talk about this here today.
Hey everybody, my name is Brett Perloff. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of Prism AR. We are building solutions for spatial app developers and advertisers, bringing the first programmatic advertising platform to the spatial medium.
Awesome. Lucky to have you guys. Thank you. So I think I'm sort of preaching to the choir here when I talk about augmented reality, but can I just get a show of hands? Like, how many people do know what AR is? Do we all know what augmented reality is? Most of the room. So the great thing about augmented reality is it's going into three-dimensional space with spatial computing. So you can tell stories and you kind of immerse the user in this 3D space and take advantage of it. It's going beyond that flat screen. And we're moving in a direction where right now we have to use it with our phones, and that's not always the best user experience, but that's changing very quickly because it's gonna be built into our sunglasses, our reading glasses, into windshields, into windows, into all these different places. We're gonna be surrounded by it, and there's a ton of opportunities for brands. They're gonna wanna be there. So let's jump into some questions. The first question I have for you, Rag, at Snapchat. I'm really impressed with Snap in general, the Snap lenses. I feel like it's a very practical use case where lots of brands are coming to you and leveraging this. Yeah, do you wanna talk about Snap lenses a little bit?
Yeah, with Snap, you guys haven't seen our logo at all today, I'm sure. And so what we're really focused on is with our Snapchat app, we've found a lot of really interesting ways for augmented reality to actually reach scale and reach a lot of people. I think it's something like 6 billion AR impressions a day, and that allows us to really provide opportunities for brands to use our resources to go all over the place. So, we have lenses in our carousel. When you open the app, the top few of them are sponsored lenses. It's a great opportunity for advertisers to reach people. But then we also use our AR platform in so many other ways. We have something called Camera Kit, which allows you to put AR experiences on iOS and Android apps and build installations. So we're finding lots of ways that brands like to use AR to create shareable, fun experiences that are really good for brands.
Awesome, thank you. And Dana, from a creative standpoint, why are you excited about augmented reality?
Yeah, I think that augmented reality has really shown the ability to help people interact in a new way that they haven't necessarily been able to do before with brands. So they can actually try things on. They can see how things will look on their face. They can interact with games, which is what we primarily focus on at Around, is we create massive multiplayer games. So we'll take 70,000 people and bring a communal experience to them that utilizes this augmented reality technology to really allow the people to feel like the whole environment has shifted and changed into something magical. And I think that this is an opportunity for us to really be able to bring brands a completely new way of realizing their content within these spaces.
And Brett, question for you. How do you see, you really are on the distribution side on how to get marketing inside of all these different apps. Yeah. What is your perspective on this?
Yeah, so we're coming from a little bit of a different standpoint. We see spatial evolving into a situation very similar to mobile, where you have devices, app ecosystems, and app developers, and many of those app developers are going to need a monetization solution. We're not going to pay for every single app we have, just like on our phones, on our glasses. So what we've done is we've built a platform where essentially democratizing the ability to get ads into spatial environments. And that's how it works on mobile, that's how it works on websites, that's how it works on connected television, streaming television. We see the same thing happening here as one option for brands. But of course, another option is more focused, more extravagant, one-to-one experiences like Rog and Dana are working on.
Yeah, but you can see a world where if all of these AR apps are in our daily life, there's going to be a demand for advertisers to be there, and we need solutions to make it easy for them to do so. So that makes sense. Let's jump into some case studies, because I'd love to look at some specific work and kind of dissect that and figure out why it works. So the first one we're going to look at is Coca-Cola. That's Snap and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Awesome project that you were involved in. Can you talk about the goals of that campaign and why it was so successful?
Yeah, so the first thing with this campaign, I want to shout out our Arcadia team, because that's our in-house innovation AR studio, and they go out and they look for interesting projects where they can feel like they can innovate, but also deliver really great brand impact. So I want to call out that specifically. They're the ones who produced that particular experience alongside Coca-Cola. This was specifically centered around the Olympics, and they were looking for an activation that would be able to bring a fun experience for just a multitude of types of people that were there. If you know that the Olympics in Paris, also the Paralympics were running at the same time. And so it was a real consideration. We decided to use the AR mirror technology, which is something that Snap has been constantly trying to innovate on. Our developers now have access to it, but we also work with it. And we focused on something, was one of the first things that we realized was that we just wanted to focus on head tracking, because everyone was different heights, people were different sizes, some were in accessible situations wearing wheelchairs. And so because of this, we were able to create a mirror that allowed you to play with your friends, compete against your friends in a very quick and fun experience on a surface that people just generally aren't used to experiencing augmented reality. And then you get a Coke after, which I think provided this really fun kind of full circle moment where augmented reality led you to something that unexpected and kind of associates it with an experience that you already have a really great feeling from.
Yeah, I love that one. Next, I want to jump to one of your projects, Dana, the Disneyland.
Yeah, so this experience actually happened at the Rams Stadium, so here in Los Angeles at SoFi. And they have an activation part of the game, a section of the game where they'll do a brand activation. And we went in and visualized how we would make an augmented reality game where not just the 4 contestants, so you saw these 2 families are competing to win tickets to Disneyland. And instead of just having the two families compete, what we wanted to do is find a way to bring in everybody, add the whole stadium to that moment. And what we did was we took the stadium, we divided it up into two different teams. There was the Soul team and the Royal team, and they represented two of the families that were down on the field. And you're basically trying to help one of the two families win tickets to Disneyland. So it becomes this like asymmetrical gameplay, you're rooting for a family, you're part of a team, you're popping these balloons, fireworks are going off. It's a huge spectacle, and we're able to bring in an augmented version of the castle into the stadium. So if you were ground level, you looked up and you saw this massive castle in front of you, and it was just so huge and magical. But if you were high up in the stadium and you looked down, you could see the whole entire play set. So it looked like this castle was just filling the stadium with these balloon launchers and these fireworks going off. And it was such a magical experience because it has a different perspective because it is AR. You could be in that stadium and see the same, be a part of that same experience the next week, and depending on where you were located in the stadium, have a completely different type of experience with the same exact content, which makes it feel more replayable in its own way too. And instead of forcing users to opt into some type of user profile or system where we're like capturing their data at the beginning, we allow you just to come in and play.
I love that, well done. So I think the next logical question is, how is this stuff made? What is the tech stack? Like, what tools are being used? A lot of people are familiar with 8th Ball from Niantic. That's a great AR tool that people can use, but I'll start with you, Rog. Snapchat has some really fantastic software that's available to everybody. Can you talk about some of the tools?
Yeah, so it all comes down and starts with Lens Studio. So if you go to ar.snap.com, you can download Lens Studio for free, and this is the same development platform that allows you to publish applications, lenses to Snapchat and to our spectacles. It's a very robust game engine type software. If you're familiar with Unity, you'll be able to pick it up quickly. And we have a lot of very exclusive AR, ML features that no one else has that I think really are designed around making AR experiences special. But what's also cool is that the middle of our tech stack between spectacles and Snapchat is you also have the ability to use Lens Studio to use our SDK, and you can publish experiences to iOS, Android, or web apps, or any sort of website. And what's even cooler than that is any lens you publish to Snapchat, you can actually go into it and just create a web link for it instantaneously, and it's 100% free, unlike some of the other competitors out there, and you can actually, for a lot of experiences, get a web experience right out of the box.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Dana, tell us about some of the tech stack that you use and your kind of journey of different software you've gone through.
Yeah, and for a moment, I'll just say, that is amazing. Like what they're offering, and especially if you look at some of the competitors that are out there, which for us, and I'll explain our journey, we actually did look at all the competitors, and we were like, what is going to bring an ROI? What is actually not going to tank our company in the end, right? Because you have to think about these things. There's a lot of financials behind how do you launch, what platform do you launch on, and what's the longevity of that product, and can you rely on them to be around in 6 months is another question you should be asking yourself as you're moving forward. So for us, ourselves, we've kind of been through a journey at around where we started off as a Unity app. So entire team was Unity team, and here we are, and we're building apps, and you'd have to go in, if you went to a Twins game, you actually would have to download our app in order to like play at the Twins stadium. Now, things have shifted because MLB was like, oh, we actually don't want you downloading another app while you're at the stadium, which completely makes sense. So we had to kind of figure out what are we going to do? Because we can't, there's a friction point there too. If you ask people to download an app, one, you don't know what the Wi-Fi scenario is for them. Two, you don't know what type of phone they have, right? And three, you don't always want to download another app onto your phone. I'm like, again? Really? I have to do this again? So there's a lot of friction points there. So we had to take a step back and say, what are we going to do? How do we eliminate all of those friction points? And for us, the best solution was, let's figure out how to be an embeddable. And that meant taking an entire Unity team and figuring out how we were now going to learn a whole new tech stack so that we could actually make a web embeddable.
So Brett, speaking of software, let's jump over to your side. I want to hear about Prism, and I think we can roll that clip, and you can speak over it a little bit and how software works.
You know, we're different because we're not creating the ad formats. We're creating the platform where thousands, hopefully hundreds of thousands, really hopefully millions of spatial app developers are going to be able to run their businesses if they're not, you know, the few who can actually sell their apps. As we've seen on mobile, on phones and tablets, you know, most apps require ad revenue. And what you're seeing now, just take a step back, is a Dawn ad running above dirty pots in a kitchen. And I'll get into kind of why that matters in a second. Right now, you're seeing an 8-sleep mattress ad in the bedroom over a bed. And a couple things are happening here. First, we've built a neural network which can contextualize the environment. Right now, we're just saying, you know, what is the room or business that the user is in? Are they in a bedroom? Are they in a bathroom? And we can actually signal in real time to the advertisers or the algorithms representing the advertisers, hey, this user's in a bedroom right now. An 8-sleep mattress or Serta mattress or Tempur-Pedic mattress, they may bid higher because they think that showing a mattress ad in a bedroom above their current bed, maybe the person's not happy with their mattress, would be a great moment for them to run that ad. So we can actually signal in the moment by understanding contextually where the user is to the advertiser's algorithm. This all happens in milliseconds. And based on that additional information, they can bid in an auction and potentially show their ad if they win the auction. All of this happens in fractions of a second. And there are platforms set up that we're interacting with to do this. We're working on additional contextual understandings, things like items and circumstances, so that we can pass that information in milliseconds to advertisers who've set up their campaigns on other platforms to help inform them how valuable is this ad opportunity. So to do all of this, you know, obviously we have computer vision at work, we have AI at work, we have SDKs which had to be built specifically for each operating system. So far we've built an SDK to do everything I just explained on an iPhone. So we've built an SDK for iOS. We will build one for Android phone. But really what we're focused on is building SDKs for the headworn world. It's coming. So Horizon OS, Snap OS, Vision OS, and of course Android XR. So it's SDKs operating in these environments when users are on apps, understanding what they're looking at, finding the right place, white space essentially to place an ad so that it's not disruptive to what they're actually using the app for. What you just saw was just our test app, just placing ads, but that really will apply in an app that might be a game, an app that might be a utility. Maybe it's an app that helps you measure, tape measure app, a very simple use case. We may have all seen them, there's like 50 of them in the App Store, especially on phones, where you hold it up and you say, all right, I want to measure from there to there. Well, there's a lot of space there that app developer can monetize. And that's basically what our platform will do across, like I said, hopefully hundreds of thousands, if not millions eventually, app developers across all the app ecosystems.
Nice, well done. So I want to jump over to the concept of like, what makes a good AR app? Like, what are the successful techniques and reasons why it's successful? So the first example I want to show is Uber Eats, a project from Dana.
So basically, we wanted to make a project. Uber Eats, again, they have activations at the Rams, but they wanted to make something that was going to really bring in the entire audience. And so what we decided to do was Foodies of LA. LA is such a foodie town, and they have Uber Eats stands all throughout the stadium. And so we took the different types of restaurants that they had at the stadium. They're all divided up by neighborhoods. And what we did is we took those neighborhoods and we turned those into teams. And so you get assigned whichever team that you're on. And there's actually a player who's also assigned to. So we're bringing in the Rams football players and merging that in with the Uber Eats brand and then turning it into a very like LA-centric experience, right? So you're on that, you're on your team, you're playing. The people around you in your section are also on the same team with you. And if you win, you get a prompt that gives you a free meal. So right then and there, your team wins, you're playing with your friends, you guys all just won a free meal. And you literally, in that moment, can order your meal and have it delivered to your seat. So there's this whole user journey of we played, we accomplished something together, we're having this fun moment, and then we get to celebrate with our loot, our reward, right? We get to drink a beer together and hang out and interact with the brand in this very seamless way if we decide that we want to opt in and grab that free meal that we have coming to us. So it's a really fun way to be able to take that brand and let you not only have this fun augmented reality experience, but then get to live it and enjoy it together as a community.
Yeah, engaging and rewarding, so successful. I want to jump over to one of Rog's projects. Let's go to the Nike example.
Yeah, so huge shout out to Arcadia. Again, our in-house studio does amazing work. And if we were to break down some of the things that were really successful about this campaign, just to define it, it essentially was a gamification where you could pull your phone up to the sky across Paris during the Olympics and sort of play a variety of different mini games. There would be a sky leaderboard that was shared across of it so people could share and kind of see it. And the concept, first of all, I think anytime you're building an activation or an experience in something that has so much context, understanding that context is like utterly essential, because unlike other types of advertising mediums that might find yourself in a very contained context of a television or a screen, AR fills in the world, and so you're engaging people where they are. So very much so, there were about 9% of kids in France who actually had access to Olympic events or Olympic things, but 90% of them were able to access Snapchat. And so can you create an experience that's easy to use wherever you are? And so what is a piece of real estate that everyone has access to? The sky. And so building an experience so that everyone there could utilize that particular space to kind of have an experience where everyone's sharing and talking about it. That's very much a superpower of AR, because it brings people into shared spaces and experiences that are more heightened than anything a video or sound or any other type of advertising medium is. So like whenever you're thinking about AR advertising, you have to ask yourself, what are those things that you can engage and do that are simply impossible otherwise? And how can I supercharge those in this context to make the people feel something that they otherwise wouldn't be able to feel?
I want to talk about the concept of value. Like, what type of real special value do we get from an augmented reality ad compared to a traditional ad? Like we've had ads forever, TV spots, billboards, all of this stuff. Why do we need AR advertising? And I'll ask you, Rog, first. I guess, Snapchat, a lot of people, clients are running tons of video ads on the platform already.
Yeah.
Why do they need to do something in AR?
Yeah, well, it's something that often has to be told and sold, as any of you who work in AR and advertising probably have done before. We've certainly been able to do that kind of numbers. I'm pulling out my phone because I just want to get the right numbers. We've been able to show across our 6 billion AR interactions every day. Some of the a study that we put out on AR and attention said that they saw AR get 1.6 higher lifts in ad awareness compared to video, like similar video ads on our platform, 4 times higher lift in brand awareness, and 2 times in action content, right? And so action intent. And so some basic metrics show that if you, especially in a platform where it's kind of been tailored for that delivery, then you're able to get really great results because people are used to it, they're experiencing it. That's not to say though that the creative doesn't matter. The choices that are made by individual advertisers, all of those things matter. And so it's really exciting when that takes off with people, because it is a very real, I wouldn't be, I'm not selling snake oil here. I think it's a really good investment for brands.
Well, we have a little less than 10 minutes left, so I was going to jump to the end and kind of open it up to questions.
How many years from now it will take to see everybody wearing these glasses?
2 years. I know we're at time. I'm gonna say it right now. It's gonna be 2 years, and nobody's gonna ask what AR is. They're just gonna know.
my mom is going to be using it. She's going to be like, why would I take my phone out and try to figure out where my navigation is? Because it's right here, okay? So I just said it. So 2 years. But I want to say a huge thank you to our amazing panelists. These people are experts. Please chat with them after. Thank you, everybody, for
thank
coming.
you all.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you everyone for coming. Nick, Dana, Rag, and Brett, that was awesome. And Nick, I'm definitely looking forward to see your mom wearing those AR glasses for sure. I think we all are.
And we're back. Thank you so much, Nick, for, giving us a sneak peek of the behind the scene. I've never been to a WE, so that was really cool for me to see. But I'm really bullish and very excited about the new tech that's coming out, especially on AR. I think we're gonna see a lot more this year, specifically around with Google now doing it, Meta now doing it. I think we're going to see a lot more usage for AR, and I think something that brands should really think about how they're gonna another layer for them to engage with. But what was your thoughts on everything?
Yeah, for me, I think being there and seeing how the tech has evolved and just seeing like the level of interest and buzz around it right now just reaffirmed my bullishness on augmented reality. Like, I just feel like it's going to touch everybody, really soon. So like we're just like it's just we're on the edge. So I'm just going to be cheering from the sidelines and just watching that clock tick down.
Yeah. Not super excited. Should we go on to our favorite time of the week where we talk about what's played out?
Yes, let's go to what is played out.
Okay, I've got a good one.
You don't
I
have
didn't
one.
write it out. No, I do have a good one.
Okay.
But I will let you go first. Tell me about what's your played out.
Played out for me. I was struggling to find one this week, but I had something that happened just last night, and which is restaurant time. Restaurant time is the time that they tell you that isn't real. Where they say like, this is like it's been a thing, right? Where it's like they're like, oh, your table's gonna be ready in 15 minutes, and you're like, that could be very nebulous. That could be like a very long 15 minutes. That could be 30 minutes. Restaurant time, but you got to roll with it, especially in LA. But went to this restaurant. I didn't have a reservation. I had my family with me, and I had my two small kids that were like, kind of had a lot of ruckus going on. And we had called earlier, and they said, oh, there's nobody here, so if you come in, it should be pretty quick, right? So then I started put my name in, and I was like, how long is it going to be? Like, and she's like, oh, well, I can't really give you a time. And I said, well, can you give me some kind of time? Because there's a situation here with these kids. I got to do something. Like if it's like 15 minutes, I'm just gonna hang out. If it's like an hour, I'm gonna like walk around the block. And then she like was getting all flustered, and I was like, well, I just need a ballpark.
Yeah.
And it kept coming back with like, you know what? I can't tell you any information. I was like, this is crazy. So it just got me thinking about like technology, and look at what we've done with like Uber and Waze. It's like you can take all these different data points, and it basically just spits out a result, right?
Fair.
So can we add more tracking in restaurants just to like, it's like a smart restaurant that's like, on average, there's 3 people on this table, there's 2 people on that table. Statistically, they spend X and X, right? And it just spits it out. And it says, this table's probably going to be ready in 13 minutes,
Yeah.
right? So then they can look at that and be like, it's probably like 15, 20 minutes, sir. And you're like,
Yeah.
great, right? It seems like that is just around the corner, right? Because that will help us.
Great. I feel like that's so smart. You could have like different insights. I mean, I like the inside part of me is like, oh, what is the probability that they're going to be longer because they had alcohol, or they're going to order dessert because they are
Right.
now like 2 cocktails down, or
Right. But that's the type of real-time data that we
Yeah.
can track and report and calculate. It's not hard at this
You know what
stage.
Uber has done really well is more to give you an ATA and like a fake hope that your Uber car is actually moving when it's actually not moving.
That's
And I
right.
think what they
You're
should do, they give you fake updates on they're finishing the desserts, and then you're like, okay, fine, like a little
right.
bit.
Yeah. I want the play-by-play. I want to be staring at my
Yeah.
phone.
I think
They
that
like,
helps you like
oh, they just paid the check. They paid the check. We're like 3 minutes out, I bet. No, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, restaurant time is played out. I don't know. What do you got?
So mine was, I mean, very much related to Norse airplane that I used coming back to London. But I've got two played out. First of all, one, and I feel like I've said this one, but because I had a really bad experience, I have two played out from them. One is that they don't serve food, and it's a 10-hour flight. So I think that is absolutely crazy. Like you have to pay for it, and it's horrible airplane food. So they
That
don't
should be
serve you.
illegal. I mean,
That
they
should
should
be
like
illegal.
just force it into the price. You've
And
got to
then-
pay an extra $20 and there is food there, right?
And the second part was that I was next to a young kid. I think he was maybe like between 6 and 8, but his parents were nowhere to be seen. And for 9 hours, he was like on my seat pretty much. Like, like the armrest. So completely laying on my seat, like making so much noise, being so turbulent, going up all the time. So for the 9 hours, I couldn't sleep because I honestly don't know where his parents were. So that was my played out. Is that if I know that sometimes you can't get the seats that you want and you can't be next to your kid. I'm very happy to swap, but don't let him unattended because it was like the worst flight I've ever had. So that was my played out. Take care of your kids because 9 hours is very long for them, even if they have a TV. And then Norse, please serve food because I think that should be illegal.
I can imagine this kid was starving too.
They had like lunchbox, so that was okay.
Okay.
But it was more like he had nothing to do. And his sister was next to him, so he was not completely on his own, but she was probably like 14, so not interested on engaging with her younger brother. I think she didn't care.
Yeah, I agree. I think parents need to, manage the madness. Don't
It's
just,
just it's 8 hours, it's 9 hours. It's not my responsibility to entertain your kids. But I didn't have any time of sleep, so bit difficult, but it was fine in the end. But yeah, that was my two played out from it. Not the best flight.
You made it through. I think there's a consistent theme of airplanes and air travel being not great. It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard. But speaking of air travel, have you seen that show, The Rehearsal, on HBO?
No.
It's this comedy. We'll talk about it later. But season 2 is all about aviation, and it's mind blowing.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, well, I think that's it for this week episode. Another great one. Thank you again, Nick, for giving us the tour of AWE. Next week, we have a really exciting speaker, Yuri Marchand, who is the CEO of Overwolf. For those that don't know, Overwolf is a platform that allows players to create and use in-game apps and mods for PC game. There's many ways for brands to engage through their advertising model, so I'm really excited to deep dive into this conversation with him.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Good episode. Edward, read us out, please.
And that was Brands in Play. Thank you for joining the podcast where we explore immersive marketing and the people who are leading it. Co-hosted by Albane, Prioux and Nick Hill. Our show today was produced by myself, Edward Regu, with creative direction by Joey Jeda, Javed Kazmi, and audio engineering by Somran Q. As well as a massive shout out to Joanna Pinto, Cara McLaren, Krishna Oshesky, Nick Merling, Stefan Gibler, Adam Kreiner, and Tia Stradyard. Be sure to join us every week for brand new episodes.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views, policies, or positions of host reporters. The information shared during this podcast is based on personal experience and publicly available information and is intended for informational purposes. Any references to specific platforms, companies, or partnerships are made in a personal capacity and do not imply endorsement, partnership, or official association with any organization mentioned.